in Langa there's very bad soil, very sandy soil. So when we were looking at solutions specifically for organic waste, it made sense that the food waste stayed local. Wasted started really as a passion project of mine. I was working as a photojournalist and I just got exposed to a lot of issues within South Africa, within our communities, and I started realizing there was a big gap and a big opportunity within waste education, specifically the need for people to just have knowledge around what these materials were, where they were ending up, and how to deal with them in a resourceful way. Really just understanding that there was value within us as community members, but also value within the materials that we had around us that we were producing. This work was brought to us through South African Urban Food Farming Trust, which is SAUFFT. They got the funding through AfriFood Links, the EU initiative looking at urban food environments. Langa was chosen as one of the locations in Cape Town, South Africa. And in Langa, we are dealing with post-apartheid community and infrastructure. It was quite an interesting challenge for us to look at how do those systems now change as legislations have changed, as apartheid has moved on, but yet the communities are still in the same infrastructure and not much has changed since then. So how do these systems change? We were brought in and we looked at three main things. We looked at informal traders themselves. First we researched and did an audit around it and looked at what they were producing, characterized those materials and where those were ending up. Once we understood that research and that information, we were asked to implement a project over 6 months. And what we were able to then identify through the research was the opportunities within the community. We connected the informal traders with the local recyclers, which was easy enough because there are many buyback centers, many waste pickers within the community, but there wasn't infrastructure or systems for organic waste. So because there were the farmers, it made sense that the organic waste was coming local, was moving into a local system, but there wasn't that infrastructure. And that's when we started looking at what solutions there would be, and that's how we found BiobiN and an in-vessel solution, because first of all, there's quite a lot of meat-heavy waste within the informal trading space, and therefore putting it just in plain thermal heaps or even Bakashi systems just seemed like it wasn't going to be the best fit, and in-vessel seemed like a really great fit for this type of system. So we were really excited to meet BiobiN and to get them on board to trial this in-vessel system. And it's been 10 months of trialing the in-vessel machine, and it's been absolutely amazing to see. We've tracked pest management, we've tracked compost output, we've tracked inputs. We've been able to do between 4 to 6 tons of food waste per month. That's given us 2 to 3 cubic meters of compost output religiously or ongoing. We've never stopped, which has been amazing. And pests have been very, very minimal. And we've been able to prove that through this pilot. We collected organic waste from the residents in partnership with the City of Cape Town. They had an urban waste management trial where they were looking at collection of 1,000 residents' households. So that food waste was being directed to the BiobiN, and we also were collecting from the informal traders. And that waste together made up the 4 to 6 tons that was turned into the 2 to 3 cubic meters of compost. And then that's directly sold to the local community. So the idea was to create an enterprise model that would then be sustainable for the AgriHub to be able to take on and to continue utilizing, not only for the benefit of their gardens, but also for sale, to make an enterprise model that would work. So they've been selling the compost, they've been collecting food waste from more and more community members, and we're still trialing those systems and how that will work in the future. It's been wonderful to see the experience and the opportunities that have arisen through the pilot.
You can see by the greens of the crops, it means that there's lack of nitrogen. And we are trying to improve the soil structure by introducing an in-house locally produced compost using the kitchen waste. So we decided to kind of solve that problem by taking that organic waste combining it with wood shavings and then putting it in that container, which is called the BiobiN, which is an universal aerobic composting machine for 30 days. We then sift that into our burrow, and then we move our compost to the last mile center, which is our packaging area. In our packaging area, we choose the finest compost, which is actually the highest quality, where we put it in bags, which we then make available at a discounted price for our farmers so that they can also improve the very same soil quality that is all around our community. This is high quality compost. The next step for us now is to actually test the compost. Then we can be able to see if it meets standard requirements. Now we are exploring a possibility. Can we actually get success from what we are trying now and then replicate it also in other parts? Are we able to have a network of 10 BiobiN systems operating? If we are able to position ourselves as the AgriHub to say we are feeding the community.